¿Qué tal, maníacos? Bienvenidos. Soy Diego Lecanda. Me acompaña mi co-host Iker Gamba, el poeta. Pero tenemos un par de invitados. Welcome, guys. Mack, Joe from MFL. Please.
What's happening,
A round of applause for our guests. Joe, you've been here before, but Mack, first time.
Mi primera vez aquí.
Yeah.
So,
What do you feel about all the lights, all the cameras?
I'll tell you
You're
what.
used to it. You're
I'm tell you what. I'm impressed, guys. I didn't know what I was coming to. Joe said, "You've been here." I'm like, "No," but lights are on, ready to go.
Hell yeah. Lots to talk about. Obviously, MFL 4, we were there a couple of weeks ago. But last time you were here, Joe. Well, actually, no. Let's start with you, Mack, because you've been here before,
Many
Joe.
times.
So, Mack, yeah.
Repeat offender.
For the people who haven't seen you a lot in front of camera, what is your role in MFL? What's your part?
So I am Joe's co-founder. We started this about almost a year ago. I would say like 10 months. And nevertheless, it has been a journey. Lots of excitements, lots of challenges, lots of highs, lows. You guys have covered some of the good stuff, some of the bad stuff, but ready to dive into more about MFL 4 and what's coming ahead with MFL 5 in August.
yeah, you guys announced the calendar actually for the rest of the year and for the first event of next year. So how did that come up? Because we never see leagues all over the world ever do that. So how did you guys were able to organize that and schedule it?
I mean, I think to be candid is enough of my friends and family and our friends are like, dude, when are your shows? I'm sick of just seeing your shows 30-day notice. And if you want to buy tickets, you're hoping that they just happen to be available on that Saturday. So I said to Joe, let's plan out for the rest of the year and lead into like basically MFL 10. And we decided to release it. It's funny you mentioned no one does that. But if you look at like the larger leagues globally, they do that. And that allows you to actually create some type of schedule for sponsors and potential media right partners. So that's really the only reason.
Yeah, we're going to have some breaking news to share in the next month or two. That really helped us get everything together and able to organize this. So we're super excited to bring a really high quality product to the world. A lot of work to improve on, streaming, in person, whatever. We're still grinding, still a far ways away from where we want this business to be, but we're having a lot of fun in the process and have big hopes for what it will be one day.
So, hopping on that, every event, there's highs and lows. You said it, right? There's a lot of a lot of wins and a lot of things you can learn.
Yeah.
So, going into MFL 5, for example, what is like the one thing that you have in mind that you want to fix? Like the last time, it was more the live show, right? The lights, the cage. Going into MFL 5, what's the next big change? What's the next thing that you guys want to improve?
Yeah, I think I can start. I think Joe will have many things. I'll have a few. I think for us, it's trying to mimic the experience that you view as an MMA fan when you watch Paramount at the UFC. Obviously, this is $1 billion company. They've been doing it 30 years. But we all have expectations to get the right camera shots, to get the right audio, for the walkouts, it gets cut so you can hear the commentator, but then you don't get overseen with the background noise. Little things like that are things that all of us observe and are so critical of, and we want to make sure the audio is correct, the camera angles are correct in the cage. So when we come out with MFL 5 in August, we're ready to go from that standpoint. The thing is, there's always going to be things you need to improve upon. But for us, it's getting as close to being as reasonable as UFC type quality production standpoint.
Yeah, I think the streaming is probably the biggest area of opportunity for us right now. I think we did a much better job with lighting, an in-person experience at MFL 4. Yeah, dude. I was here talking about how shitty MFL 3 was. Not so long. That was brutal,
we
man.
had shadows on there.
It was 20 minutes of just.
I think we had like 16 lights at the venue. Crazy. So, we did some cool stuff with our new production partner. Amazing screens, pantallas throughout the venue. A lot of opportunity for brands to market themselves. But still a lot of work to do. I think now we've stabilized the in-person experience to a certain degree. Obviously, we're going to keep making it better for everybody. I think the next area of opportunity you're going to see improvements on as a fan is the stream quality. I think we're going to be upgrading to 4K cameras. We've got the one and only Octavio leading the audio production over there.
Shout out. Shout out.
Yeah, big shout out to Octavio. We're going to have much better quality audio on the stream, so you're not going to have your ears bleeding every 5 minutes when listening to the lovely voices of the MFL commentate. So lots of stuff to improve on, guys. MFL 5 will be coming mid-August, August 15th, according to the calendar. We're going to be doing some amateur events to help promote the grassroots side of the sport, be involved with the amateurs, the kids, and really help them grow as athletes and hopefully one day make their debuts at the MFL. So the next couple months, we're going to be focused on that. Low production, no production in some cases, depending on the event.
Just to be clear, the amateur events are separate from this calendar.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
So we're doing pro events. We release those on the calendar. In addition to that, we're going out and we're doing things focused on building the community, giving amateurs a chance to compete at no cost, just to show up, see what it's like to be in the MFL arena, what it's like to be in the holla, what's it like to have the lights, the music, all of that. Still TBD if we're going to stream it. I don't know how big the viewership base is for that right now, but at the very least, we want those kids to come out, get practice, get some reps in, and then hopefully one day transition to pro with us.
Yeah. And I also want to add, so much of like, in my experience, obviously not growing up in Mexico in the US, is like I still have friends that are like avid diehard players of like softball and baseball and hardball, and they played and they're amateurs and they call them weekend warriors. And I think as much as it's important for us to have like these amateur events, so I think we're calling it new blood to like find the next stars in MMA. Nuevo Sangre. What's also important is just like, as Joe says, like these avid diehard MMA like enthusiasts, just to give them a chance to like go out and compete. Even if it's just for a medal or a pair of Yokow shorts, it's okay. But that's how we really believe that we can genuinely build authentic fandom. And I think for us, it's really important to invest in this like kind of grassroots initiative.
Is it just love for the sport, or is it love for Mexican fans? Where does this come from? Because you're doing so much for the community here. Like I gotta think
in so very little time.
Joe can start. Well, I can pitch in after.
Yeah, I think it's a mix of both. Like, we built this business because we love the sport. We're sickos. We love people being locked in a cage, beating the shit out of each other. It's great. It's the best sport in the world.
Maniacos.
We do.
It's the best sport in the world. But we also see that, aside from, the highest level, there's still like a lot missing in the ecosystem. And I think to really have a big impact and carry out what our mission is here, we have to be involved in creating that ecosystem. And a big part of that is at the amateur level, getting kids as young as like, I think, how old was our youngest? 12, 13 years old?
12.
Wow. As young as 12 years old, out to understand what it's like to compete, give them a fair shot, low stakes. They win, they lose. Great. It's off the pro record.
Yeah.
And it's fun. They associate the MFL with being fun. Yeah. They become a fan. And that fan then goes on and tells other potential fans how sick their experience was, that they have to check out and see their stuff, see the clips, and it creates this ripple effect throughout the ecosystem, which creates more fandom. So at the end of the day, MFL would be nothing without its fans.
Yeah.
Whether you're in front row, VIP suite, or the last row in the venue, we are so happy you're there with us that day. Or even if you're streaming in, we love it. We're building this for the fans.
Yeah.
So everything kind of ties in hand with that. And
I think a lot of it from my personal experience is just like my inspiration was in my career. I played baseball for a long time, and so many of my best memories were from like my amateur days, going to these tournaments with my friends. Some of my friends played in college, some of them played in pro, and I played a few years professionally. But so much of our like memories as a family were around these tournaments. And these tournaments in the big picture mean so little, but to your memories with your parents mean so much. And I said to Joe, like, I don't know where this is going to turn out long-term with the amateur tournaments and the amateur grassroots stuff, but I do know that if we can find a way to do it consistently on a cadence, start here in Mexico City, maybe we, move to other cities, it's going to pay dividends long-term, because so many of my best memories and so many of my friendships now, we talk about when we were playing in these amateur tournaments in the middle of ass end of California, hot as shit, weren't even streamed. I got my dad's video camera, and it's like, nowadays we can record this with like DJI and iPhones. And I think so much of these fandom, most of these kids won't be UFC stars. Most of them probably won't be professional, but they could be MMA fans, and we want them to have a platform to come watch pros, hopefully in the next 10 years and in the future with the MFL. So I think for us, it's pretty easy in thesis. And it's also an excuse for me and Joe to go out and watch more fights and not have to hang out with our wives and girlfriends.
Yeah, it's a great excuse.
With the Giants, in the minor leagues.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn! Damn, dude, nice.
It was a great experience, short-lived, but nevertheless, there's a lot of parallels with MMA, and we can kind of get into that another time. But it's a tough road. And actually, the last weekend with Wander Cortez, he was a former NBA or MLB pitcher, and you could see it with his right hand, and quickly made the transition. So crazy power. But yeah, that's basically our inspiration with the grassroots initiative.
And it sounds also like this perspective of like a business perspective of it, right? Like it sounds like you're building the brand right now, and you want to. It's like you're building MFL, but at the same time you're building MMA. It's like a two-way avenue, right? It's like a little bit for you, but also a lot for everybody else, and it's a win-win situation.
Yeah.
Like I think like when we take a step back, we think about where we want to be in 5-10 years. We want to be doing shows like filling out like 90,000 person soccer arenas, right? Crazy shit. And the question is, well, how do you do that? And it's like, well, you got to start somewhere. And the answer isn't just buying meta ads and pumping dollars or pesos into ad spend. It's ineffective. You have to build real fandom and respect for the organization. And I think the way to do it is really just starting at the ground up.
Yeah.
And that's a big reason why we do this. And when you look at how little investment goes into MMA, it's still viewed as like a very controversial sport in some parts of the world, such as here. People don't take it too seriously. The ecosystem just doesn't exist. And when we see what it could be coming from a different place, we're like, oh, this is a no-brainer. Like, let's just spend a bunch of time building out opportunities for people to be featured and to go out and perform and grow their own fans and help the business blossom. Makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah, I mean, and I think candidly too, like when you look at like some of the best athletes that come from Mexico, let's talk on Mexico before Spanish-speaking Latam. You think of soccer, there's this tradition, people sign early, they go to their academies, etc. But you look at like the profile and the stature of men and women that are coming up, MMA is probably, in combat sports, is probably the best profile or sport for them because there's weight classes. You're not competing against somebody that's 6'9" trying to play basketball or some massive guy from the Dominican Republic.
Well, unless your name's Kevin Arreola.
Right?
Oops. Oops.
But like the sport in the combat sports is like meant for this type of demographic, in my opinion, where it's made by weight and by gender. So I think, and access is so much more accessible in our opinion than trying to, when you need other equipment to play like tennis and golf and all these more country club sports. And also, when you're a fighter, you don't really need a team. You just need a coach and an opportunity. Step in the holla, do well, or step in the cage and do well, and you'll get another opportunity. And I think so much of that emphasis is so important to us is like, you don't need to be drafted. You don't need to be signed at 14 years old. And if you miss that window, good luck playing for Club Americas, right? Like you can come from anywhere in MMA, as we've seen in the UFC. And in 2 years' notice, you can be a star. And I think that's super exciting for us as well.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the best example of what you're saying is Katrin, because Katrin was signed, he's 29 or 30. And when we talked to him at the event, the first thing that he said is, I'm super grateful just for being here, the fact that I get to do this for a living. I never thought I could. So the fact that you guys are giving him the opportunity to fight and have a platform, and that also speaks to the amateurs, because the amateurs, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, like Brandon said, but one day perhaps they'll be exactly where Katrin is right now and the roster of MFL is at. And they'll grow with the sport as well.
Yeah, I mean, you hit it right on the head. It's like we, of course, aspire to have people, go on to the UFC right now and have the chance. But just because you can't be a UFC star doesn't mean you can't be a great star in Mexico in the MMA space and make a living eventually where we're paying, really compensation or very well compensated wages. But like, just because you can't be in the top 10 in the UFC doesn't mean you shouldn't be a noted, worthy MMA athlete in Mexico. That's how I see it. Yep. And Joe and I've always said that.
Yeah.
And it sounds a little bit like you're more focused on the younger talent, the up and coming stars. I don't want to say how open, because I know you're very open to bringing in legends, but how focused are you to like maybe bringing in fighters from like who used to be in the UFC, maybe for main events, stuff like that? Are you more focused on just building these fighters, or you're also kind of looking for also bigger names?
I think at the end of the day, the most important thing to know is that we want the best show possible. Yeah. And when we look at like card construction as a whole, now, being matchmakers, there's different roles for different profiles of people. if I make a card with a bunch of debutants, people are gonna be bored out of their mind. There's no star power. The fighters generally lack fight experience because they're debutants.
Yeah.
They're not the most exciting shows at times. Not to say they can't be. Obviously, we had some great debuts in the last card. But with that in mind, there's a place for everybody.
Yeah.
We just signed, for example, Caleb Cervantes. He's 40 years old, and he has a losing record, I believe. I don't even know what his record is, to be honest with you. I just know he's got balls.
He's a winner in everyone's
He's a winner.
eyes.
He's a winner.
He's a winner.
He's a winner. He's a winner.
He
That
won
guy's the
more
That took
from
the
that
fi-
fight
yeah.
than
Yeah.
Papá de los Helados.
For
Yeah.
sure.
He won a lot more,
Yeah.
for sure. He gained the respect and love of so many people
Yeah.
that day. And he's 40 years old. That kid's not, a young buck anymore. But there's a place for guys like that. There's a place for ex-UFC, ex-PFL, ex-LFA, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
What we really care about is your fighting ability, how technical you are. Are you able to win? Are you able to be competitive? And also of the same weight, if not more important, is how marketable are you? The MFL isn't just a place for fighters to show up and fight. It's a place for you to be famous, for you to gain celebrity,
Yeah.
for you to become known by the people and adored by the people. We want those types of people. That is what makes this business interesting. And, people out there who are considering to fight with us, if that's you, call us.
Yeah, I think Joe, hit it on the head, and I would just add is like when we first started this, you can imagine we've had great mentors, bad mentors. People give us tons of
A lot of bad
advice,
ones.
a lot of bad ones. We've had some really. I remember this news from a great friend of ours that is a prominent agent in the space. He goes, "You guys, to make something great, you have to create your own stars, and you have to start early. But in the meantime, you have to be able to sell shows." And I think it sounds so easy, right? Like, okay, create your own stars. Well, who the hell are they? Who wants to be with the MFL in the beginning? Nobody, right? Who are these crazy gringos? And then you have to sell shows. Like, how the hell are you going to sell a show, right? Of course, we got fortunate. MFL 1 and 2 worked, and then MFL 3 was a catapult with the Gable and Hugo fight. But it made so much sense now as you step back, like, you have to create your own stars, but in the meantime, you can't just let these guys go out and have a bunch of 1-0 and 2-0 people fight. No one cares, right? So I think it's important to your question, Diego, is how do we get our own stars? But you have to be open to getting an ex-UFC or an ex-LFA guy or a guy who is, injured, who's coming off a former champion from Mohawks. You have to be able to do that. You have to be open to it. But that isn't consistent, and to build your own storylines, you have to have your own stars. But you have to be open to it. Just like the Gable opportunity came up. You had to be open to it. It came up. We had 3 weeks to put this show on. We said, fuck it, we're going to put it on. Most people be like, what are you doing? No, this is literally a once in the MFL opportunity. And we did it. So I think you have to be open to many storylines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now that you brought it up,
Go for it.
So, because there's so many
Yeah.
ways to go
Yeah,
about
of
it,
course.
but so for each of you, whoever wants to respond first, which was your biggest takeaway, personally, professionally, for the business, for yourself?
From MFL 4.
No, from Gable.
Gable, from working
From
with
bringing
Gable.
from Joe Gable
from going
first.
for bringing in Gable and
Yeah.
going through the whole
Yeah.
enchilada.
It was, so many things to talk about with that.
You could do a whole episode.
I think the most important thing that I took away from that was understanding how important individual star power is with athletes to the success of a show.
100%.
Gable, former Olympic gold medalist, heavyweight wrestler, was widely considered the number 1 UFC prospect in the world at the time he came to fight in the MFL. He brought massive viewership. We did a Spanish stream, an English stream, and then gave the stream to Flow Sports, Flow Wrestling. The combined viewership of that event was around 155,000, 160,000 live stream views. Chat was going insane. The content interactions were crazy. John Jones showed up. Everyone knows who that is. Hopefully it's listening to this podcast. If you don't,
Yeah, come on.
you got a problem.
You're
Must
not a
have
maniac.
crush
If you
on
don't,
one of the hosts,
wow.
You guys are not maniacos.
Yeah.
You don't know who John Jones is.
What are you doing here?
That's a personal problem.
It's just a stalker then.
Yeah.
You are not
Crushing
found.
on you.
Yeah.
But the interactions with that, every piece of social media we did with John Jones was crazy. The meet and greet was crazy. So it really showed us, or at least me, I don't know if Mack's going to agree, but it is so important to consider when you're making offers to fighters and considering who to bring into the league and position. what they bring to the table. Obviously, Gable Stevenson is the only Gable Stevenson in the world.
Mm-hmm.
There's no one else close to that right now who has that type of storytelling ability and stardom. But when we look at it at a smaller scale, now we're looking for those traits and trends which could potentially create someone like that, maybe not to such a degree of having millions of followers and all of that. But we look at that and it helps us determine, okay, what could be interesting from a show perspective to put together to create large viewership, to create great engagement, and at the end of the day, put on a great show for the fans. So that was an interesting takeaway.
Yeah, I think Joe hit a lot of things on the positive side, and I'm always more of the pessimistic guy. I think when I think about it, it's like you're only as good as your last show. And I think, MFL 3 came together so well. A lot of things from the logistics standpoint, operation side, we want to improve, but we figured it out and got through it. But right away, I said to Joe, and he agreed with me, like, all right, MFL 4, time to move on, right? Because you're not going to build a business. You're not going to build anything of value by just doing one show. And I think it did give us a lot of validity. It gave us a lot of credibility in the marketplace with fighters and so forth and notoriety. But now we're always looking for what's next? What's next? How do we build our own stars? Okay, are we going to do another activation with we've working on some other things with like other famous, MMA stars or UFC stars that are Latino to do another meet and greet, to do another seminar, maybe at Corey in the future. It shows you the power of stardom, but you're only as good as your last show. And I think MFL 4, I was super proud of it because viewership was crazy for MFL 3, but MFL 4 viewership was also very good. And it flipped from English and Spanish, but we had another kind of different storyline come up with Christopher Ewart and Tanke and all that. So it shows us the power of stardom, but also like it puts your hand to the fire of like, holy shit, okay, what's next? Like the level is high. If you go out and flop MFL 4, you're like, okay, you're a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So like our expectations are so high that way.
Are there any fighters that you might want to be like, I want to have this guy? in
Bro,
my show?
Tanke, bro, let's fucking go. Sign the deal, chief.
Yeah, Tanke, let's go.
Sign the deal.
Yeah, hopefully.
That guy's got crazy fandom in Chile.
Yeah.
It is
crazy
so
fandom.
impressive. And he's got real talent.
Yeah.
Obviously, the fight that took place at MFL 4 was the result of salvage attempps. Nothing but my respects to Walter Luna. That guy's a great
right
person,
on.
super nice guy, balls of. I mean, he's walking down the street with a wheelbarrow full of fucking
yeah.
nuts. That guy's crazy.
I mean, he went in there knowing he was going to take it.
He flew in from Honduras like 30 hours before he was scheduled to go out and fight.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't give a fuck. He's great.
Yeah.
But obviously there was
It's supposed to be a light heavyweight.
there was a big difference.
Yeah, but he fights. Like, that was like his 50th fight.
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
something.
it was just literally his, I think, 42nd or third fight.
Yeah.
It was 2020
2020. Yeah.
or 21 or something like that.
Yeah.
It was crazy. But yeah, I mean, as point being, you guys all saw the fight. I mean, it was a very quick fight.
Yeah.
Tanke is someone who's at a very high level technically. Walter is someone who comes from a different part of the world, who doesn't have access to the same resources, who makes up for technique with testicles. And
It's true.
and
Whatever it takes.
he got him a couple times.
Yeah.
He got him a couple times, but Tanke's technique
Just different
obviously
level.
is a different
Yeah.
level.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'd love to see Tanke back. Tanke, excuse me. Great Chilean fan base and obviously real star potential in terms of fighting technique, potentially making his way back to the UFC.
All right. Or maybe are there any other markets that you want to tackle through talent? Maybe like, I want to bring in a Colombian fighter.
Or for instance,
Joe-
looking at the calendar, there's a date in Monterrey and the rest are in Mexico City. So why is that?
You got a great question, Diego. And yes, eventually we do want to start conquering the larger Latin market. We've seen people try and do it before for Mexico and go too quickly. And it doesn't work out. You got to really establish home base first, establish your home market, your home fans,
Yeah.
and then grow. So step by step, we're right now super focused on Mexico City. We see a ton of potential in this state,
Yeah.
25 million plus people. Monterrey, we had a lot of love and respect from the fans up there when we went. We want to go back.
Yeah.
We're thinking about going back in
But
November.
speaking from talent, I think you were mentioning also about the talent, like looking at, we actually were working on MFL 5 card that we ended up moving to August. A lot of Peruvians were interested in coming to MFL.
Mm.
And there's this like Peruvian, Mexican kind of
Beef.
beef that we've learned.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe
So, like,
not
we're working
going there,
No,
but
we're-
viewership that you want to
We're
try.
actually looking on bringing several Peruvians from some of the top regional leagues down in Peru to come up here, and there's this natural kind of pride between Mexico versus Peru. So I think that's actually going to be coming to fruition. If not in 5, definitely in MFL 6.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
We're pushing to make that happen. We got some very interesting potentials
very interesting.
lined up for August. We'll see if they
Undefeated guys,
resolve.
125, 135 guys.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nothing confirmed, but it's brewing.
Yep.
Off camera, you'll hear.
But you mentioned Monterrey. Anything to add?
For Monterrey, the date is November, I'm pretty sure. But
15th, I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
15th.
for Monterrey, you said you guys are very heavily focused on Mexico City with Quarry right now.
Yeah.
But with Monterrey, we know you guys kicked it off the roof with Gable,
Yeah.
right? But what's the plan? Like, why do you guys want to come back to Monterrey?
San Pedro is my favorite city in Mexico. San Pedro is the best.
San Pedrino Joe, huh?
San Pedro, Joe.
He's ready.
I love it. I just love the people up there. I think it's so much fun going up there. It's a great time. Food's great. The fighters are great.
Agree.
We have
They
signed
love
fighters
MMA.
there.
We've got a bunch of signed
And
fighters
it
up
always
there.
makes sense for us to probably do one more show up there. It ends up probably lining up in November. December, it's
Yep.
probably going to be, Posadas is more difficult. October, September, why not be here? So we think it makes sense. Nothing's confirmed as far as like exact venue where it's going to be, but we're definitely confident we're going to do it there. We're working on some things maybe behind the scenes where we do it with some other people, and it would probably be like one of the first ones ever done. But we can't announce that yet.
All right. Well, but you said you have some announcements coming up this week. I want to say a little bit what they are about. Is it matchmaking? Is it partnerships that you're working about?
I don't know which
You can tease the people.
Yeah.
Just a little tease.
We have
but like
lots of
what?
tease.
Yeah.
There's something big coming your way, guys. Stay tuned. I do not want to talk about it just yet.
You don't want to jinx it.
Say the writing's on the wall, but stay tuned.
I guess there is something in the works. So obviously we've been working with YoCal. A lot of feedback. I don't know. Fighters have
Great
mentioned
gloves.
great gloves, the equipment. We love their stuff. We're now in the beginning stages, which should be, for the fall and winter to have our own YoCal line, which would be like a collab with them. It would be our own.
Nice.
So that is something that is going to be in the works, but that's going to come
Yeah.
later in the fall.
You're going to be able to buy that gear.
Yeah.
Pueden comprar ese merch en nuestro sitio web, fightmfl.com,
Yeah.
y dar click en la tienda. Todavía no está ahí, pero pronto sí. We're working on building it out. We've got some crazy collab gear coming out, guys.
The colorways are sick as hell.
Sick gear. Lycra, dual short, o sea, los fight shorts que utilizamos en la liga.
Rash guard.
Rash guard, short sleeve, long sleeve,
Nice.
slide, sandals,
Working on a little Venom kind of zip up style.
zip ups.
All right.
Ojalá guantes.
Oh, yeah.
Guantes de
All
box,
right.
16.
We say this now because it takes so long.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes a long time.
It'll be like November.
It's going to be.
Yeah, for Christmas presents.
Yeah, we were talking to the team
Right-
there.
right on time.
We're thinking we're going to get the
Medium,
first batch around
large,
October.
Extra small.
Great, you'll fit a 5X Yokel.
Yeah, that means you'll be a 6X.
Yeah,
Yokel.
I was a small, but then the dad.
That's why Octavio loves your cow.
Bro, I put on the 2X Yokel, dude.
The Yoka.
Oh
Yoka
my
2X,
God, dude.
Dude, he couldn't get it off.
I couldn't get it off, dude. I was like, I got it off
2X,
eventually.
2X because it's tight.
Dude, it's tie fit, dude. It's like a medium.
But
normal.
like
It's-
what like imagine.
Bro, I got it over.
Gable wearing that.
No, it wouldn't.
Just
Say.
rip it.
Like
No, he
Superman.
had double XL
Like
shorts
the
on.
Hulk.
It was,
Bro, it was bad. It looked like a human chorizo.
make a fucking gif of that. A human chorizo would be.
looked at the
You
mirror,
go
like,
to
oh,
any
yeah.
random jiu-jitsu tournament here, you see 1,000 of those, man.
Yeah, bro, yeah.
But no one wants to see
chorizos.
them.
yeah.
True.
You see them, they don't look good.
You don't want to see them.
We're bringing bigger sizes for the big boys. We got you. Don't worry. We got you.
Awesome.
chorizo.
All right, we're gonna say goodbye. This edition, it's already half an hour, but we're gonna come back in a couple of days, talk about what happened over the weekend, what's gonna happen this upcoming weekend. But guys, this is your house. You're more than welcome to come here anytime. And again, thank you for everything that you're doing
course.
for the sport here in Mexico.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
Thanks so much. And we'll see you guys soon. Nos vemos pronto en Maníacos, ya saben, recap y preview con ellos.
Melquisael Costa contra Arnaud Dahlen. Así que síganos, @MMA.niacos, y nos vemos también en el canal de MFL para los collabs de Reels. Chao.